Good afternoon. This is Women Radio WFM 91.7, Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. All right, today is the 29th day of November 2024, and this is about 5 minutes after 12 on the side of the radio. All right, so this is the big question where we get to discuss and prefer solutions to issues affecting us as a nation. And on the big question, we are going through with our 16 Days of Activism campaign. All right, and today is day 5 of the 16 Days of Activism campaign. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser, and today on the 16 Days of Activism campaign, on the big question, we are looking at rising above SGBV. So right from Monday, the 25th of November, we started up with our 16 Days of Activism campaign, where we bring up different organizations who are into the welfare of, survivors of SGBV, all right, supporting them and seeing how they can be better, live better lives, and, and all of it. So today we are still on the topic rising above SGBV. And the theme for this year's 16 Days of Activism is hashtag No Excuse Unite to end and prevent violence against women and girls. All right, so you're welcome to the 16 Days of Activism, Day 5 on Women Radio WFM 91.7, which is a specialized program where we get to raise awareness, mobilize action, and call for the prevention and elimination of all forms of violence against women and girls worldwide. All right, so today on the program, we have the founder of Okaha Women and Children Development Organization. And, I just prefer to call them OWACDO. So that's the short form of it. And we have Joy Aricha Ijuwo. Good afternoon, Joy. Thank you for joining us today.
Good afternoon, Rose. Good afternoon to all Nigerian women.
All right. How's your day been, and how's the weekend looking like? And how's been the 16 Days of Activism so far?
It's been very fine. We've been having series of activities for the past 5 days. There has been no job.
Okay. All right. So hopefully we get to see that all of the activities you have lined up for the 16 days will definitely, mean something at the end of the day. We'll definitely get to see a change at the end of the day, because that's what we're looking at. Prevention, kicking SGBV away from our societies, and supporting the survivors of SGBV. So we'll hope that at the end of the day, it means a lot for all our efforts, that we have actually put in place. All right, so this is Women Radio WFM 91.7. Now, violence against women and girls is one of the most widespread human rights violations globally. According to United Nations Women, nearly 1 in 3 women have experienced physical and or sexual violence, whether by an intimate partner or others, at least once in their lifetime. In 2023 alone, last year, we had over 51,100 women were murdered by partners or family members, equating to 1 woman killed every 10 minutes. Now, this violence, which can be physical, sexual, or emotional, has severe short and long-term effects on women's physical and mental health. All right, so on this program, we'll be discussing challenges and way forward in supporting survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. All right, like I said, I have Joy Aricha Ijuwo with us this afternoon, founder of Okaha Women and Children Development. All right, to be a part of the program, you can dial 07000 917 917. Send us a text or a WhatsApp message to 070 Our toll-free number for our female callers is 0800 1235 917. Our social media platforms are there. You can go ahead and drop your contributions on at WFM 917. And of course, you can log on to our website www.wfm917.com to listen live from any part of the world. All right, Joe, let's head on straight to the conversation. Now, can you take us through how OWACDO has support survivors of SGBV? What specific programs or services does your organization provide, especially as regards to support to survivors of SGBV?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I'm happy to be with us today. My name again is Joy Aricha Ijuwo, like you said. I am the founder and executive director of OWACDO. Well, we have existed for the past 10 years, but in the last 3-4 years, we have focused more on gender-based violence issues and providing support for survivors. Well, for us, what we do, we have a comprehensive survivor-based approach to issues of GBV. So we have the immediate solutions, we have long-term solutions, and then intermediary solutions. As a way of immediate response to GBV or survivors, we do have a safe space, what you will call a shelter. The shelter is called Okaha Women's Shelter. It has enabled so many women to process their experience in confidentiality. Now, what we do there, when there are GBV cases, women need a space to run to. For example, if it is a wife battery issue, if it is a rape case, women usually need a safe space to run to. So our shelter have proved to be very, very helpful, and it has been very, very effective. We have well-trained staff, and then we also do medical care for the survivors. What I mean by this is that we enable them to access emergency medical care. We work in partnership with some government hospitals like the Federal Medical Center. We have the Police Medical Hospital and some other PHC. So when such things happen, we ensure that things like injuries, like sexually transmitted diseases, things like contraceptive, we ensure that these survivors get such medical attention immediately in 24 hours, as long as we have the report. As long as the case is reported to us, we do urgent medical care. Also, most importantly, the issue of psychosocial support and mental health for such survivors, we cannot de-emphasize that. Is very, very key, because it has to do with the emotional intelligence and the emotional stability of such survivors. So we provide psychosocial first aid, and then we counsel them. We do counseling services. We have well-trained staff in our organization that have undergone national and local trainings to be able to give psychosocial first aid to such survivors. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you to Joy. This is quite commendable, what you've done so far in the last 3 years, especially as regards to SGBV and survivors of SGBV. Well done, well done. All right, now let's look at how you do ensure. I know you mentioned a few, the shelter and all of that, and some of the supports that you have been given. You have been giving the survivors, talking about medical, psychological support, and even the collaborations that you have. This is definitely commendable. So now let's look at how Owakdo gets to address societal stigmas and cultural barriers that discourage survivors from seeking help, because in communities which Owakdo works, I know that you must have come across societal stigmas. You must have heard of some cultural barriers that could actually keep women or girls from seeking help. So how have you been able to address this? How has Owakdo been able to address this?
Well, God has been helping us. But what we have done very well in the past, or in the recent past, is we have engaged so well with community people. By this I mean elders in the community, men and women, all strata of the community. We've been engaging with them and then sensitizing them. We work close to us.
Okay.
Yes, they have been of great help to us. Whenever we are seeking behavioral change in norms, in cultural activities that have influenced or affected women badly, we use such influencers at the community level. But also we conduct a lot of awareness creation, both on radios like this, and I want to thank you, the Women FM, for providing this kind of medium, because it's you go far on air, and so many people that hear you will be able to learn new things, and it creates a lot of awareness. So we use all kinds of ways to create awareness, using flyers, we do town hall meetings, we do community dialogues. And all this is so that they can change their cultural norms or behaviors that have been affecting women negatively in the past. So we also gather feedback from them to know what the impact of what we're doing is, if our impact or if our intervention have impacted them positively, or otherwise. We need that information. So the feedback mechanism that we use is very strong. We have people, community volunteers, we have community people that work with us, and then they give us the feedback as to what we are doing, if it's getting any positive response or not. So sometimes we have to adjust our strategies.
Okay.
If the strategies we use have not worked very well, we really need to go back, sit back, and then go back. So with all this, we are able to affect our society and the stigma that is in the community, the cultural barriers, we are able to affect them positively.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Joy. And well done once again to Owakdo and the work you have done so far in different communities where you are based. All right, this is about 16 minutes after 12 on the side of the radio, and this is the program The Big Question. And on The Big Question today, we are going through with our 16 Days of Activism campaign. All right, and the topic for the 16 Days of Activism campaign is Rising Above SGBV. And this is, as regards to support for survivors of SGBV. And my name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. We have Joy Aricha Ijowo. She is the founder and executive director of Okaha Women and Children Development Organization, or WACDO. To be a part of the program, you can dial 07000 917 917. Send us a WhatsApp message to 070 56537. Our toll-free number for our female callers is 0800 1235 917. This is day 5 of the 16 Days of Activism campaign right here on Women Radio. And we are looking at work done so far, challenges and way forward in supporting survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. All right, so now, Joy, let's look at strategies you use to empower survivors to regain their confidence and independence after their experiences, because that could be a lot. A lot of the survivors face different kind of violence, and sometimes getting them out of that space because of how long they have been enduring all of that. So it has a psychological, effect on them. So taking them out of that space, trying to empower them, trying to help them regain their confidence and their independence. How does WACDO help to, push the survivors to the extent of regaining their confidence and independence after all they've experienced?
Yes, thank you for that question. Yes, so that is one of the medium-term support we give to survivors that come our way. I also want to emphasize that we usually have a lot of survivors, women with cases that are very, 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 very bad. So what we have done is to provide livelihood support to these women. We have livelihood programs that have helped these women to regain their confidence. Yes, women have been able to regain their confidence with the livelihood support programs we have done in the past. For example, we take them through skill acquisition training. We have had Action Aid supporters. We have had so many international partners support us to train such women for like tailoring, soap making. In fact, recently we have women that do gaming, and they are very happy about it because they make money out of that. So skill building program have helped a lot of women. It has helped them to access small grants. Apart from the grants they access themselves, they are able to turn over their little capital that they invest, be able to start their own business. Once a woman is able to have her own financial resources, when she's built financially, she can talk. She is built in a way that she can be able to support herself. So we've done that.
Okay.
Very well. Also, we have helped them with literacy programs. So some of those literacy programs we've done, we have sent women to even adult education. We have done literacy programs on financial literacy. We have helped them on little ways they can save their money, ways you can open a bank account. We have taught women how to be computer literate, how to use ordinary handsets. Many of these IDP women that will come our way, they don't even know how to operate the handset. So last year, when we had the International Day of the Women, we had over 150 women. We taught them how to use phones, how to use small applications, how they can be able to open accounts. Even some of them do not even know how to make calls, how to save people's numbers, how to make save their customers' contact and all that. So, but we're able to teach them all that. We went through, last year's focus was on things that have to do with cyber literacy. So we use that opportunity to teach a lot of the women from the IDP camps who are also survivors. So we do both formal and informal literacy. So financial literacy is one way that we have helped women to gain their confidence when it comes to survival issues. So we have been able to take women through a lot of things to help them.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Joy, for taking us through some of, what you've done, some of the work you've done to empower survivors to regain their confidence. Well done. Now, let's look at raising awareness towards fostering a culture of zero tolerance for SGBV. How has Owagdo been able to involve communities in raising awareness, and fostering a culture of zero tolerance for SGBV in communities where you have, worked?
You know what? You will be surprised that not many women even know that their right is being trampled upon. So when you go to communities, we have a lot of challenge because so many people do not know.
Yeah.
So the strategy we have used is to create awareness. This awareness creation has helped us a great deal in the sense that so many men who even batter their wife, who abuse their wife emotionally, physically, or in other ways, we have been able to help them to know that such things are trampling on the women's right. So working with community persons, leaders and influencers, like I told you before, have greatly helped us. People at the grassroots, they are on ground. They see, they hear when people are violated, they hear when there is a fight in the next compound. So we've been able to have clusters. We work with women mediators in the community. So these cluster groups that we have, they are like our eyes, they are like our vigilante officers in the communities. So when some things happen, they encourage the women to go and report. The first thing you have to do, or they have to know, we tell them, is you have to speak out. When you see something, say something. When you do not speak, then you are further getting yourself into the abuse, and it may be a continuous one. I remember very well the case in the case of Osinachi, the recent case. She was purported to have married a pastor because she did not speak out. She didn't want her family name to be marred in the open. Seemingly thinking she was coming from a Christian home, a religious background. She doesn't want people to hear that there was problem in the house. But what happened? It led her to her death. So what we encourage people in the community is, please speak out. And for others who see or watch such things happen, they should report in good time. So the fact is, when you report, you get the needed help. The help you desire will come to you. An organization like ours are here on ground. We have been providing all manner of support, even legal aid. Because we work with the Federation of Female Lawyers, FIDA, called FIDA. We work with Lawyers Alert, organizations like Lawyers Alert. We provide pro bono free services to women who are survivors of GBV. Women do not need to pay. I always tell them, you don't have to pay because these services are there. They are provided free of charge, so you can access them and get the needed justice that you desire. I discover most people do not know. So I use every opportunity to tell them that you don't have to have money to get or engage a lawyer. You can get pro bono services and get justice for whatever have happened to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Joy. This is quite a lot, and I like how I like the aspect of encouraging communities not to be silent. And it's not just for the women, even for the men too. Once you see something happening somewhere, say something so that the life of, a woman or a young girl can be saved. So I totally am like that. And well done once again to Owagdo. All right, this is 25 minutes after 12, and this is the station, Women Radio WFM 91.7, Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser, and we're on the program The Big Question, where we're going through with our 16 Days of Activism campaign. And today is our day 5. On our day 5, we're talking about rising above SGBV. And we have the founder and executive director of Okaha Women and Children Development Organization, OWACDO, Joy Aricha Ijowo. And of course, she's been telling us how they've been empowering survivors, telling us how some of the efforts they've made to foster the culture of zero tolerance for SGBV. Now, Joy, let's quickly look at the challenges you have faced so far in terms of supporting survivors. Because sometime for the past 4 days before today, some of the organizations that have come through have told us almost similar challenges they have faced. In terms of saying that the women don't want to talk. Sometimes it's the men that get to expose this. Sometimes, women are afraid to speak out because they're trying to protect their children and, their husbands and all of that. So it takes a lot for the woman who's been abused to actually come forth. So is that the same challenge you also face? And what effort has been made so far to address some of the challenges that you have faced, or challenges that are peculiar to some of the communities that, you have actually worked in?
Yes, thank you for that question. We have faced a lot of challenges. One among them that is very key and prominent is our inability to meet the growing needs of survivors. In as much as we are creating awareness, but we keep seeing a soaring number of survivors. I don't know if it's because of the economic situation in the country or what, but sometimes we see a pool of people and we are not able to meet their needs. For example, a woman will come and say, I need money to start business, but the resources may not be enough for us to cater for the number that we have at a particular time. So that in itself is a challenge to us. In doing this work, we face a lot of challenges, like the issue of insecurity. We work in a conflict-ridden community. Benue State is known for a lot of crises. Both communal, we have farmer header crises, we have a lot of communal crises, we have natural disaster. So because of all these conflicting issues, you see that we have a lot of security issues. Now, you may go to the field, you want to go and rescue a survivor, and you may meet hostile community people who do not want the perpetrator to be reported or to be punished. So you see, the community can gang up against us even in doing our work. That alone is a big challenge for us. Sometimes they want to, like recently, let me just tell us this example. Do you know there was a community where a gang raped a girl? When we went to arrest these perpetrators, do you know that the chief of that community was shielding, hiding, and abating the criminals in his own house? So we did not have access to go and catch them. So I had to tell my staff to come back so that we involve the police in the case, because we can't do it alone. So we work with law enforcement agencies, civil defense, the gender unit of the police, the Nigerian police force. They help us most times to see that justice prevails. Another challenge that I have faced in doing this work is resources. The resources are just not there. They are limited. Funding is limited. Supplies are limited. So you cannot be able to do the much that you desire to do. And the scope of work is quite large. Then there's the issue of fatigue. We are human beings. Sometimes you stand, you address people, you walk and walk, you share palliative, you share things until you are fatigued. You are worn out with stress. So these are some challenges. And again, in working with government agencies, there's the problem of bureaucracy. You write a letter today for something very urgent. You want the police to take action. You want the Ministry of Women Affairs to take immediate action. But because of the office bureaucracy, it delays. But you see, for we in development, we are sharp, you know. We are at the grassroots. We want to take action now, so that the person will get justice. But when you go to a government office where you need to work with them closely, they delay the processes. And then that, you know, it affects the outcome of the work we run. For example, if it's a rape case and there's no more bureaucracy, in 24 hours the girl is supposed to be checked by a doctor to know if there was a rape case. But you see, if that bureaucracy is not broken and then we lost evidence, at the end of the day, the girl may lose out in court because the lawyer will say there's no evidence. So you see what bureaucracy causes for us. We are able to mitigate most of these challenges, but we're trying to see what we can do to see that these challenges are brought to the minimal level so that we can help the much we can do. Yes, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Joy, for taking us through that. Now, as we wrap up the program, let's hear from you what you think stakeholders such as society, government, communities, and even other organizations. What do you think, can be done in as regards to supporting survivors of SGBV? How can we all come together as stakeholders in this to support survivors of SGBV? And you give us your final words with that too.
Okay, so you see, everybody have a part to play. You have your role, you are doing your role, I'm doing my role. If everybody is doing his role and playing his part well, it will go a long way to reduce the incidences of GBV in our communities. And this 16 days of activism is to help us to create more awareness, to create attention for survivors so that they know that they are not alone. On the part of government, I want to advocate strongly that policies and systems should be put in place that would be favorable to women. For example, in Benue State, we have the VAP law, that's Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law. But how far is the implementation of such a law, the act? You see, in most states, it has been domesticated, but the implementation is very poor. In Benue, as we speak, we have the SAC, that Sexual Assault Referral Center, but it is not functional. That is a key role that government can play to make all this implementation very easy. People should be able to access facilities like the SAC, so that when you go there, you get all the needed help. There are some states that are doing very well, like Lagos and Kaduna. My prayer is that Benue State should be counted among the states that are doing well when it comes to implementation of such laws that are favorable to women. So improving or making policies that are favorable to women is what we are advocating for. So there should be a dedicated family court where women and children can run to. Women and children do not need to be tried in the regular court so that you don't expose them, you don't expose their issues to the public. Yes, some states are doing very well, but we call on all government practitioners to do their best. CSOs are doing a lot, but let's not relent in our efforts. CSOs and media work hand in hand. We should continue the collaborative effort, even with donor agencies. Donor agencies should not be feel fatigued. They should not be tired of helping African countries like ours because we are in dear need of their support. So we continue to build each other's capacity so that we can help ourselves and build a stronger Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Joy. This has been a very good conversation with you this afternoon. Thank you so much for being a part of our 16 Days of Activism campaign right here on Women Radio.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm grateful, Rose. Thank you for the day, and I wish you the rest of the 16 days a beautiful outing with other women and with the radio station. Thank you very much, Women Radio.
Thank you. Thank you, Jito Wakdo, for all you do. Thank you. Have a great day and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. So there you have it, coming from Joy Aricha Ijowo, the founder and executive director of Okaha Women and Children Development Organization, or WACDO. A very big thank you to her for taking out time out of the activities they have for the 16 days to be here to talk about support for survivors of SGBV. All right, so today is our day 5. Tomorrow is another day where we will bring you another organization for day 6 of the 16 Days of Activism campaign right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Thanks to the programs team of Women Radio for putting this together, and to the executive producer Tun Okewale Shonaya. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. Do well to stay with us right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Good afternoon.
WFM 91.7.